Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain about API, how it is works and why it is needed. So, what is API? An API is a messenger between frontend and backend. So, like frontend asks, backend decides and reply. So, in between API exists and it tells frontend that I will do the further work. I will going to communicate with the backend, and this process make the things secure. So after that, why API is needed in backend? So number one, frontend cannot access database directly. So frontend code is visible to everyone on browser. If frontend connects to DB directly, it can be dangerous, like password can exposed, anyone can delete data, huge security risk. So API protect database, then only backend talks to database. And number two, backend logic must be hidden, like login, validation, salary calculation, discount rules, admin permissions. These rules must stay secret, and API hides the logic inside backend, and backend code never visible on client side. It will only visible on program that only developer can see. So third one, backend. Third one is one backend, many frontend. Like we can handle many frontend with only one backend. Like creates one backend and use it with many frontend that needs same logic and same data. So it is only possible with API because same backend works for, like we can use same backend for our website, mobile applications, admin panel. So without API, we have to separate the logic everywhere. So with the help of API, we can reuse backend anywhere. What is the API here to reuse the backend for many frontend? So an API is just a URL plus method that returns data in JSON format. So we also know about like get, post, update and delete. These things like CRUD operations. We uh, define these logics in API backend. So how we reuse the same backend? So first is the, like we can create API with the help of Node and Express. Node is a runtime environment of JavaScript. So here benefit is, if we know JavaScript, then we can handle both front end and back end. In back end, we can use Node.js. It is a runtime environment, and Express is a framework. of Node.js. In Express, we used to create API like this to get the data. So this API does not care who is calling it. It only send data. If frontend needs uh, same data with same logic, like we create a website and again we need to create application like there is a we can uh, also access Instagram on Windows, and there is an application also for Instagram. Then for this we in this case we just need to use same backend because it will deliver same data with same logic. Like here we are using API in website, then we are using in mobile application same API to show the product on website, to show the product on mobile application with the same logic, and admin panel too. It show the product for admin managements. So why backend doesn't change? Because backend only does business logic, database access, validation, and security. So it doesn't need to update the UI like make the button green to red or many things. It focuses on logic and data. So it is like using APIs. We separate backend logic from front end UI. This allows one backend to secure multiple front end like web, mobile, and admin panel without any duplicate duplicating logics. So here is the chart flow like on website and mobile application admin panel. With the help of API, we can use same backend and database. So without API, if frontend have same rule and need same data, then only we can use the same backend. Like without API, website backend, we have to create website backend logic, like mobile backend logic, admin backend logic, and with the help of API, we used to like front-end API backend database. With this flow, we can create if we create our application with this flow, we can build a single backend as a API layer, and multiple frontends like web, mobile, and admin panel can consume the same backend services. If multiple frontend require the same data and follow the same business rule, we can reuse the backend APIs and only change the UI layer. Like I told before that whenever we need same logic and same database on front end, then we can use same backend if API, if it is only possible because of API, because there is a lot of method in API that used to manage these things. So, so uh, why backend API needed in backend? Fourth point is for clean communication, request and response. From front end, we used to do request, and with the help of backend, it will give response to front end. So it is like this, like whenever we perform login with this thing, it matches, it goes to the backend and matches the data, matches from the database. If if password and email is correct, then it will give response with the true and message visible on UI login successful. So there is another point, why should we use API? API because API makes app scalable. Later we can change front end. Later we can change, like change front end design, add mobile application, change database. API stays same. App doesn't break if uh, we changes on UI. So API is necessary because it is safely connects front end with backend logic and database. So if like why we cannot use the same backend for many front end without API? If backend logic is same, why we can't directly connect one backend to website, mobile application, and admin panel without API? Actually, we technically can, but it is a very bad and unsafe design. Like without API, each front end need its own backend logic. So website needs backend logic, mobile apps needs backend logic, admin panel also need backend logic. So the same business logic gets repeated again and again. This is called duplication of logic, and it is very dangerous. So now, like, imagine we want to change one rule, like we change product price calculation. Now it must update website backend, then update mobile backend, and then update admin backend. If we forgot one place, system breaks. So without API, backend becomes hard to maintain. So like front-end code is visible to everyone. If front-end directly talks to backend logic or database, password can be exposed. Anyone can call logic wrongly. Anyone can multi manipulate data, and this is a huge security risk. So without API, backend become tightly coupled without frontend. So website backend works differently. Same for mobile and admin backend. So backend should never care who is using it. Backend should only care about data and rule to secure. So that's why we use API because backend is written once. API exposes backend functionality, website, mobile app, and admin panel all use the same API. So API does not care who is calling it. It only process request and send. Without API, backend logic get duplicated, insecure, and hard to maintain. With API, one backend can safely serve many frontend. Thank you.